How does toxic leadership keep getting promoted instead of removed? I watched it happen in real time. Captain Briggs was the worst officer I'd ever served under. Not just demanding or strict, actually toxic. The kind of leader who destroyed soldiers for sport. First time I saw it was during a training exercise at Fort Stewart. Private Trevor Wade made a minor mistake on a land navigation course. Got turned around, arrived 15 minutes late to the checkpoint. Normal correction would be counseling, maybe extra PT. Briggs made Wade low crawl through a muddy drainage ditch for 2 hours while he followed behind yelling insults. "You're worthless, Wade. Your family must be so ashamed they raised such a failure." Wade threw up twice from exhaustion. When he finally finished, Briggs wrote him up for poor physical fitness and recommended he be recycled to a different unit. Kid was 20 years old, crying in the barracks that night. I reported it to the battalion commander, filed a formal complaint, got called into Colonel Westbrook's office expecting action. Instead, Westbrook told me, "Briggs is hard on his soldiers because he cares. His methods get results. His platoon has the highest PT scores in the battalion." Of course they did. Everyone was terrified of him. 3 months later, Sergeant Curtis Brennan challenged one of Briggs's orders during a convoy brief. Not disrespectfully, just asked for clarification on a tactical decision that seemed risky. Briggs exploded, screamed at Brennan in front of the entire company, called him incompetent, stupid, a disgrace to the NCO Corps. Then he had Brennan transferred to a different unit with a negative evaluation that basically ended his promotion chances. Brennan had 12 years of spotless service. One question to Briggs destroyed his career. I filed another complaint, this time with the Inspector General, provided witness statements from 6 soldiers, documented every incident over 8 months. The IG investigation took 4 weeks. Their conclusion? Insufficient evidence of wrongdoing. Briggs' leadership style was described as aggressive but within acceptable parameters. 2 weeks after that report, Briggs got promoted to major. I couldn't believe it. Stood there at the promotion ceremony watching him pin on his new rank, while soldiers he'd tormented were forced to applaud. My hands were shaking with rage. That's when Vincent Ashford pulled me aside. He was a captain in S1, handled personnel records. "You want to know why Briggs keeps moving up?" he asked quietly. Turned out Briggs had a mentor, General Kincaid, who'd commanded Briggs years ago in Afghanistan. Kincaid thought Briggs was a brilliant tactician, the kind of hard-charging officer the Army needed. Every time someone filed a complaint against Briggs, Kincaid made calls, spoke to the investigating officers, emphasized Briggs's combat record, his technical competence, his results-oriented approach. The complaints would get buried under phrases like demanding but effective, or high standards for his soldiers. Briggs knew he was protected, started getting worse, made soldiers do PT until they passed out, threatened to destroy anyone who reported him, called female soldiers inappropriate names during training. I watched good people leave the Army because of him. Wade transferred to the reserves, said he couldn't take it anymore. Brennan took an early retirement. 3 others requested reassignments or just didn't re-enlist. Briggs got assigned as executive officer of a battalion, on track for battalion commander. 20 years of toxicity rewarded with more power. I got out after my contract ended. Couldn't stomach being part of a system that elevated leaders like him. Figured Briggs would keep climbing until he made colonel or higher. That's how toxic leadership keeps getting promoted. They have protectors at the top. They produce metrics that look good on paper. And the soldiers they destroy just disappear from the system. Their complaints filed away and forgotten. But here's what I learned 5 years later. Major Briggs finally got command of his own battalion in 2019. 6 months into command, one of his soldiers attempted suicide. Left a note specifically naming Briggs's abuse as the reason. The soldier survived. His family went to the media. Congressional representatives got involved. Suddenly all those buried complaints resurfaced. Wade, Brennan, and 17 other soldiers gave testimony. The pattern was undeniable. Briggs got relieved of command, court-martialed for multiple counts of abuse and conduct unbecoming, sentenced to 2 years in military prison and dismissed from service. General Kincaid, his protector, was forced to retire early. Congressional inquiry found he'd interfered with multiple investigations. The soldier who survived, his name was Dalton Pierce. He wrote me a letter after the trial, said he'd read through the old complaint files and found my reports from years earlier. "You tried to stop him before he got to me," Pierce wrote. "Thank you for that. It mattered, even if it didn't work then." Briggs is working security at a warehouse now. Dishonorable discharge, lost his pension. Nobody will hire him for anything better.